Um, we talked about amortization tables yesterday, and amortization tables is really like zooming in to the payments, every single payment, and breaking it down into its two main components, right? Every single payment has what I call a lowercase p, right, and a lowercase I, right? Because why am I saying lowercase, Mr. Dirksen? What are you talking about? Why lowercase? Because there is the total interest. You know that total interest we find out, where every single interest would be combined into one bucket. That's like your total interest. And all of these small principals, they all go towards that main loan you took in the first place. So it's kind of like, that's why I call them lowercase, because it's really just zooming into one payment and finding each piece. And then second payment comes along, and then third payment comes along. And so we're zooming into these. And in this particular case, we would have 3 years worth of payments. If it's monthly, that's 36. So technically for this loan, we would have to do 36 of these to get to the bottom of it, and finally owing 0 here. Okay, so that's what we're doing. And if you understand how this works, okay, because I will give you fill in the blank type of scenarios where I might say this. I might give you the payment, and I might give you just the principal, this one right here. How would you find the interest paid? Well, you just know that if you subtract this from the payment, you get your interest. If you subtract this from your payment, you would get the principal, right? Because these two always add up to your payment. These two always add up to your payment. So that's the basic that I want you to understand in this table. Okay. Let's answer here what it says. How much interest did you pay over 3 months? Right? So basically, you would just add up the three. Should I answer it? I'm going to answer it right here. So interest would be 35.42 plus 34.49 plus 33.56. Right, so we're just adding up the 3 months worth of interest there. And if you add that up, that's 103.47 cents. So over just 3 months, you've paid $100 in interest already. How much went towards the principal? Right? So you have 261.48, like that's the first payment, right? And then 262.41 and 263.34. And that adds up to, if you add these up, you get 787.23, right? So that's how much went towards, this is how much you paid off. Actually paid off in 3 months. Okay, so you might say, yeah, that makes sense. But look at this. If you take your payment, $296.90, right, and you multiply it by 3 months, right, you've paid the bank this much, but only $787 really went towards bringing down your loan. Okay, so keep that in mind. Very important. I wish I could do 36, but I think you would not like me after that. You'd quit the course after 36. So I'm not going to do that. And I'm not going to dwell on this one too much. You know what I'd rather do is you do 1 or 2 today, moving on, and then I'll be like, hey, remember amortization tables? Can you still do it? Let's go back and do another one. Because it's very repetitive. You're like, I got it. You'll do 1 or 2 and be like, I got it, Mr. Dirksen, I got it. But then a week later, do you still get it, right? That's my concern. So let's go to page 25, and I'll walk you through one more. Okay. Okay. Walk you through one more here. So it's page 25 at the top. So Jamie purchased a vehicle for $3,500. She had to borrow $3,000. So, right, this is the car, but has to borrow. So this is like your loan, right? For 4.5% interest over 4 years. Complete the amortization table below. This is on page 25. So we need to figure out the payment, right? In order to get this thing started, you need to find the payment. So we know that it's $3,000, the loan. So no down payment that we need to include here because we know that they're telling us you're borrowing $3,000, right? And so let's go get this rate here. I don't have that in front of me, so I'm going to go to page 18 real quick, and I'm going to go 4.5%, match it with 4 years. So 4.5, match it with 4 years, 2288. That's what I get. 2288. Right there. And let's figure this out. I don't have the key in front of me, so I actually have to work through this whole thing as well. So if I can do it, you can do it. Okay. 2288 divided by 1,000. That's 6864. Small payment. Then again, it's not a very expensive car. Okay, 6864. Once you figure that out, insert it into your chart here and make sure you have dollar signs everywhere. And if you want to get full marks, because as soon as you miss one dollar sign in these charts that I make you fill in, you're going to lose half right off the bat, right? You don't want to get that. Okay. So this stays the same. Let's figure out the interest. This is lowercase interest, and this is lowercase p, okay? Understand that. And I will write this in one more time. It's the loan times interest divided by 100, divide that whole thing by 12. That's what you're doing. And the divided by 12 should make sense. That's dividing it by 12 months because you just want it for this particular month. And the principal is simply going payment minus lowercase I. So the first line here is 3,000, that's my loan, times the interest rate is 0.045. So all you do is divide the 4.5 by 100. I hope that makes sense. And then you divide that by 12. Let's figure out what we get. I might only do the first line actually and then let you go solo for a bit. Right? Divided by 12. And I will always check my answer. Does it make sense? And it does make sense. It's smaller than my payment, okay? And it is a small payment, right? So 1125 is how much interest I pay. I go 6864 minus 1125. And that's 5739. I'm working backwards here. That's why I have a negative on my calculator. Don't worry about it. And then I will subtract that from 3,000, right? So minus 5739. And that is 2,942.61. And this is what gets carried over. This is the most important step. If you know that this comes with you over here, so 2942.61, right? We still multiply it by the same interest rate. By the way, once you sign the papers, the interest rate is also fixed, right? 5 years, 4 years, even if the market changes, yours is still the same. Let me try, I can zoom in a little bit here because as long as I keep the, right? So this again, go ahead and plug this in. So fill in this chart. And maybe the next one as well. I will try to find my key so I can just give you the numbers for that. And so the rounding is also very important to get right. Because I can just add it up. Show your work here because you're not going to know how you got that. So a lot of the sometimes I should say the instinct is to just take the first month and multiply it by 3, and that's not accurate because every month that lowercase I gets lower and lower and lower. Okay, so you get 3310 here. And principal is 172.82. Yeah. Did you get a different answer? Oh, this one?
Yes.
Let me see. See how like if you cut it here, This is a 4, so this stays 3. If it had been a 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, then you bump this up.
You bumped it like yeah. Yeah. I like looked at everything.
Oh, you looked at this.
Yeah.
You know what? It's such a small mistake. Like, if you understand how this works right now, I would fix it here, but not too worried about it right now. The main thing is you understand how to fill this in. And those mistakes happen and you get better at it. I make those mistakes. I had to double check, like fix this already a couple times. So sometimes you type in the wrong number. Like it's okay. I was gonna say do the next one there. Some of you are already doing it, right? I'm a bit torn between this one and what I actually had in mind. So you know what? What I will do is I'll give you the answer, just this one. So if you want to do it, you go for it. I'm not going to stop you. If you want to write that down, if you want to study and practice for an AC, which may or may not show up tomorrow, right? Then you try one more. In the meantime, what I was going to assign or for you to start working on, you're not going to finish it today, I doubt it. If you take the workbook again now, so I'm not going to start leasing. I'm going to rush and then you're not going to get it. So I don't want to do that. It's okay. I have some time. I have some flexibility. So grab that workbook and go to page 2. If you go to page 2, in that workbook, the skinnier one, right? This is going over everything we've done. So depreciation, used dealer, private, even watch this, page 3 at the bottom is what you guessed it, an amortization table. So let's start on this now. You need to get started or else you won't be motivated enough to, because I won't give you enough time tomorrow to finish the whole thing. I will give you some time. So work through this. As you're doing this, make sure you study sheet. I would say do this with your study sheet first. If you're stuck, you're like, I don't know how to do this without my notes, then you need to put stuff in your study sheet that isn't there. Okay. So I will give you the rest of today to work on that. Page 2 and 3. Bless you.